spreading hate. Lips BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night. Fight the woke mob, cancel that crime. Truth on the mic while they keep lying. They wanna cancel, they wanna control, but we got the truth, we breaking the mold. Speak your mind, don't let them bind. Words cut through, sharper than a sword unkind. Senses just raw, no filter to stop. Voices rise up from the bottom to top. Feelings don't matter when the truth's laid bare. No nonsense, come at us if you dare. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night. Fight the woke mob, cancel their crying. Truth on the mic while they keep lying. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night. Fight the woke mob, cancel their crying. Truth on the mic while they keep.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince. Hey, it's to the point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
What's up, Mike? What's up, Vince?
Yeah, I guess it's a loop. Hey, how's it going at home?
What's going on, guys?
It's To The Point podcast, and it's our 90th episode.
For sure. 90th, man. Who would have ever thought that we'd be here sitting at the, started from, nothing to
If you're
look at all
watching
the
at home and
equipment
you
we
can
have
hear
and
us
stuff like
fine,
that.
give us a quick thumbs up or a comment. Just let us know you can hear us. But yeah, like you said, like 90 episodes,
90
and now
episodes.
we're with the Patriot Prayer Network with a much larger reach.
Yeah, for sure. And, big shout out to them.
a
And
lot of
thank you
fun,
again
yeah.
for letting us join their platform and stuff like that. It's awesome. We're all in it together. You listen to them, you listen to us, and it's like you're listening to one whole community together. It's just awesome how everybody just thinks alike. We're all same.
You're not alone out there. If you're
Trying to
questioning
make
the narrative.
people aware of what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Question the narrative. This is a good network to tune into, and a lot of like-minded people, like Leo was saying.
Yeah, for sure. You got questions, I like to ask questions, and I like to be like, well, what about this? And what about that? It's okay. You're not having an argument with somebody. I used to be like, well, no, Mike, I don't like this because of da da da, and be like, no, Leo, but this, we would go back and forth, but it's not.
You got to ask questions. You can't just sit there and say,
like,
okay.
okay, well, no, but this and that, be like, well, here, and then all of a sudden Mike would send me like video of this, video of that, and it's just, you gotta do your own research, just because you might think that you don't know an answer. Well, none of us know an answer, that's why we're all together to figure it out, a answer.
What's worse is when you can't get those answers.
Yeah, for sure.
And you come up with your own.
Yeah.
That's what they call conspiracies.
All the crazy shit that's going on in the world right now, a lot of it, how do you think we get there? It's just people not questioning things and just accepting.
Yeah,
for sure. Accepting what they're told. This is the way it's going to be. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Telling us how it's going to be. There's, I don't know if you realize, but in just a couple of weeks, there's a pretty big event going to happen here in the United States of America.
For sure.
And probably one of the most important elections of our lifetimes, if not our children's, probably our children's, more so than ours. But and essentially, it's obviously everybody knows it's Trump versus Harris, and essentially she took a break from the campaign. With just 2 weeks to go, they're kind of reining her back because every time she goes out, they lose
Her numbers
a
go down.
demographic.
Really?
Every time she speaks, her numbers go down.
I wonder why.
I don't know.
You ever listen to her talk?
No,
Well-
I haven't. I have no. I haven't. No, seriously.
That's part of the problem.
Like
but-
seriously, like if she has nothing to offer me.
Yeah.
She literally has nothing to offer me, so I have nothing. So for what?
She's been getting a lot of.
Why am I
She's
going
been
to turn
getting a
around?
lot of hate because lately what she's been
I'm not
doing
gonna
is
give- I'm not
the
gonna
only
give
thing
review.
she's doing. She's not going out and
Sorry.
campaigning. She's not saying what she's going to do. She's not saying what she's going to fix. All she's been doing is bad mouthing Trump.
No, she
nonstop.
hasn't been.
Right. Well,
Not
So
just
that's
that-
like
not
the
just-
only thing that comes out of her mouth.
But not just that, Vince. It's not just the bad mouthing. You know, okay, anybody could mad mouth, but also anybody could lie.
Well,
And
yeah.
guess what? Everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. So that's probably what it is. People are not going to her rallies, or people are not going to her events because it's like, for what?
Yeah, like when she said she worked at McDonald's.
Well, not just that, but it's just like other things, you know.
Well, speaking of,
Her
when she had
opposing
spoke up-
candidate has worked
Yeah.
at McDonald's.
Yeah.
He
You
had
know, it's
spoke
just-
up that she had worked at
Now.
McDonald's and worked the fry station, but yet corporate McDonald's had issued a statement after somebody asked that, and they had no record of her ever working for McDonald's. So yesterday, I believe
Right.
it was, or was it Sunday, Trump went and worked a shift at a McDonald's in Pennsylvania. I don't know exactly where, but I've got, let's see how this plays for us.
A lot of fun here, everybody.
Oh my God! Oh
Look
my
at the
God!
fake, look at all the fake news of it. Hello, everybody.
You can fake this,
And
right?
you know this is compliments of Trump, okay?
Yes,
Hope
thank
so.
you.
You know what? They
President,
haven't been able to hear us.
Let the United States become Brazil, my native Brazil.
We'll keep it good.
We'll start right after this video.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, yes, thank you so much.
Thank you over there. Thank you over
Oh
there.
my God.
Have a good
can hear you now.
Bye, darling. Bye, darling. Thank you. Thank you.
Unless it automatically.
It seems that
Yeah, so that was Donald Trump working a shift at McDonald's.
Could you imagine being the person just drive up, especially if like you had no clue? I'm sure they.
Well, I'm sure
they
they
had
had
some
to have-
knowledge. They knew when before they pulled
They knew.
up. I'm
They
sure
knew.
their vehicle was searched for guns and shit like that. You know, but
Yeah, oh yeah, they were probably getting vetted on the other side of the building.
Yeah. So, but could you imagine just out of the blue, just like pulling up to the freaking drive-through and
I don't know, man.
there's Donald
Yeah,
Trump?
I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
so if you're just tuning in, I don't know if you were able to hear us or not, but it looks like it was automatically muted. This is To The Point Podcast, episode 90. We've been doing this for 90 episodes, and this month we joined the Patriot Prayer Network, and we're glad to have the opportunity to reach a whole lot more and participate in the network's reach. Having said that, you can follow us on Facebook, Rumble, not Rumble, follow Patriot Prayer Network on Rumble and X. You can follow us on X, tothepoint.com, and on Facebook and Spotify and Apple and all that. You can download our podcast there. But back to what we were talking about, the narrative. Our conversation started tonight before we went live about what we're fed to believe and not to question it. And having brought that up, you brought up Kamala Harris saying she worked at McDonald's, and that's where we came into
Right.
Trump
'Cause we're talking
working a
about-
shift at the fry station. I mean,
Right.
the guy's almost 80, and if you compare him to Biden, I mean, he definitely blows Biden out of the water. But I mean,
He's going to be the oldest.
what happens
president.
when you compare Biden to Kamala now? That's a little questionable, and so does Biden. Biden was reportedly analyzed by lip readers saying to Obama at a funeral over last weekend that he was a much stronger candidate to defeat Trump in this election. And Obama was in agreement based on body language and lip reading.
Right.
I don't have the videos for all that, but it's been
And
crazy around
I
here,
think just because of one, his name recognition already that he has, you got some people that are just going to vote for him because they love Joe Biden. He's such a sweet guy, kind of thing, you know. So you got your people that love him; they're going to vote for him for that reason. And one of the things that Harris does not have going for her is she has very poor support from men. So she had, out of any candidate ever, like the support from men, hers is the lowest. I saw a poll that they
well,
showed.
it didn't help sending Obama out to talk to the brothers.
Right.
It more pissed them off.
And since Obama, it's been dropping since Obama got in office. Every Democratic candidate since Obama, the support level for men has gone down. And the reason why is because they're trying to feminize men.
So listen, so
Their party is pushing
Right.
the
So,
feminization of men.
Thaddeus Q-tip was right. Biden had the name and the old white vote.
Right.
He would have had the old conservatives this time around
Right.
again. You know.
so
I still
listen,
don't think he would have won, but he would have been
no, he wouldn't
closer.
win. So listen, so I follow this guy on Instagram and a few other platforms. His name is Mike Busey, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys ever heard
Yes.
of it.
Yeah.
He owns
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
He owns this.
He's
this-
still around.
Yeah, he's still
Okay.
around. So he owns this castle here in Orlando. It's called the Sausage Castle,
Yeah.
right?
The sausage factory.
The Sausage
No,
Castle.
sausage,
Castle.
I remember that.
Right.
guy.
So I was going through his thing the other day, and he was posting up. He was like live or whatever he was doing, but it was just literally like I think it was this weekend because he had a like a Halloween party thing going on or whatever. So, anyways, his Uber driver, his Uber Eats driver, delivered some food for him. So, not to mention, you have to have a membership to be able to get inside this house, right? Like because it's just like party and everything like whatever it is. It's a membership only. So they let the Uber Eats driver come in the house and live the life that the whole
Right.
party that was going on and stuff like that. And you know why? Because he was wearing a mega hat. And they asked him why. Like, well, why? And he's like, oh, we need somebody that's in there that is in charge, that knows what they're doing. And guess
Well,
what?
right.
This guy was a Haitian
Yeah.
from overseas, and he had like the thickest accent. You know how they have like, he's like, oh, we need somebody that goes in there and is in charge. This guy is in charge. There's
Yeah.
gonna be change.
Well, a lot of
Well, yeah,
people,
yeah.
and they're taking that.
But
for
that's what we
granted.
need, man. Like
They're taking the identity politics for granted. When you play
Right.
the identity politics, it ends up dangerous because
Yeah,
sooner
man.
or later you wake
sure.
the monster you've been feeding.
Yes, yes.
So, taking for granted the black male vote that Obama considers the brothers
right.
offended them. That they're not smart enough to think
Make a
for
decision
themselves.
on
For
their own.
themselves,
For
yeah.
that they financially need somebody better than Obama extension, Biden or Harris,
Right.
So a lot of them are turning. A lot of them are willing to go on camera and say it too. I don't know if you watch Benny Johnson.
I've
but
seen quite a
he
few.
does a lot of man on the street with demographics,
I don't
and he
speak
ain't
to these
afraid to
people,
ask,
man.
man.
Right.
But he'll they're not afraid to come out and say Trump, man. I like my
right.
money.
A lot
Trump.
of
Yeah,
on
everybody
social
likes
media
their
on
money.
X and TikTok.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of the black
you look-
And that's what it
creators out
comes
there that
down-
have been
that's
coming
what it-
out and saying
Right.
that.
That's literally like what it comes down to is like money. Like, let's run this business. Like, we are a country. Let's run this country like a business. Let's trade with people. Let's do business. Tell me you want it. I got it for you.
TARF taxes.
You know?
So other countries, TARF taxes, we pay.
Yeah, what is that, Vince?
we pay
Educate-
triple, 5 times the amount that we charge them.
educate me
Tariffs.
on that. What is
Tariffs.
that?
Tariffs.
What is
Yeah.
that? Educate me on that. What is
So that every time you send something to China, you charge them a tariff. You charge them a tax.
that? Right.
So the way it's been for so long, what we charge to send something to China
Mm-hmm.
is a fraction of what we get back when they send something here. So every country's basically they've been ripping us off for years, decades. What's-
Thaddeus says Q-tip says, to be fair, a Haitian in a mega hat is the same as a Haitian in a doctor's uniform. He's BS either way. Not to derail you, Vince, but I heard a
No,
statistic
probably
today
right, but-
that 5% of Haiti's population has been brought here to the United States.
Yeah, I'm sure.
5% of an island's population has been brought here.
Right here.
Just brought here.
Yeah.
Not that there was already immigrants here, but
Right.
since conflict there, 5% of their population
Really?
has been brought to
Have
the
been
United
brought.
States. Why is that?
And dropped where?
Dispersed. Probably in demographics, they're going to utilize for vote
That's
replacement in the future.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
because
where-
it
where are
takes
they
a
dropping them
while.
off?
Takes a while to get your rights to vote in this country,
Yeah.
So who knows? If the Democrats had their way,
Mike,
it would be a lot.
Mike,
lot
does it
quicker.
take a while?
I don't know what.
Nowadays, does it take a while?
it's supposed to.
It's supposed to, but if we need your vote, we can make it happen.
Well, you got to mobilize it, and they
can make it happen,
Thank God
whoever's
we're
in
on
there.
Rumble. I like the way this guy comments, but yeah, it can down the road though. Voter replacement is a real thing,
Right.
Like the more you dilute
Well,
a
yeah.
population with another demographic,
Yeah.
and especially if you helped pave the way for that new demographic,
Right.
that's what you're getting. You're
Just
getting
Yeah,
voter
Just
sure.
like what they're doing with letting them come across the border, and putting them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
They're,
like,
they're
where-
putting them in places to live and giving them, clothes, cell phone. They're giving them the stuff that makes it. They're buying their vote for the future.
Oh yeah.
And
We're so backwards. Why are we so backwards?
and the thing is if
We're tolerant.
If people take the
tolerant.
time to help educate them, though, they'll realize that the side that's buying their votes not the side they should be voting for.
Right. So I went to go get a haircut today, right? And I was listening to somebody else's conversation while they were getting a haircut, and he was saying that he was a trucker, right? But he wanted to get into. He was already trucking. He was hauling, I guess, merchandise to wherever he was hauling merchandise, and he was already a trucker. So he wanted to go work with UPS, right? And I guess they offered him the job, but he had to work in the warehouse for 2 years
Before they
he
let him
could
be a trucker. for him.
And he said that he got up and told the manager, "Now, why would I
Take a demotion.
take a demotion,
Sorry, I
Pay
didn't-
cut.
step back my dream or whatever, just to do what I'm already doing now?" He's like, "No."
Yeah.
He's like, "No." And the guy, he's like, he looked at me and was like, "What do you mean? You want the job?" Or he's like, "No,
Not like that. I'm an experienced driver.
He's like, "Why?" And then I was just thinking, I was like, you know what? Right now, that's what we just did these past 4 years. We stepped down.
Yeah, we definitely
We stepped down.
we stepped in shit, Leo.
We stepped down. The whole government, everybody.
No,
just
we've been a
stepped down,
tolerant
man.
nation, and being a tolerant nation, well, tolerance leads to there's like the. I'm lacking the word. I can't remember. We've talked about this before, but the breakdown of
Yeah,
the values
man,
that
like-
hold the people together, society.
Right. You know,
together.
it's like, you know how
whether
they,
you call it Christian or not,
you know
it's
how
the
they-
values that hold us together.
you know how they like their graphs and graphs this and graphs that and da about graphs, and this graph saved my life and this graph this and this. Listen,
it would mean something to you if it's
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, all these graphs show the graph how it literally America, like how other countries look at us, and you'll see it. It's fucking just declining, man.
You bringing
It's
up
sad.
Christian, Mike, made me think of 2 videos that I saw. It was all in one video, but somebody put them
Sad,
together.
man.
Where I'm trying to think right now. Our vice president candidate, Vance, was at a rally, and somebody said Jesus is king or Jesus is the Lord or something like that, and he repeated it and said, "Hell yeah, he is," or something like that, and the whole crowd went wild. Well, not too long ago before that, I guess Kamala Harris was at one, and that somebody said something along those same lines, and she said, "You're at the wrong rally." Ooh. And they all cheered her.
Yeah,
And
well,
you know
I mean,
what somebody's response was? She was right. They were at the wrong rally. If you believe, if you're Christian or God-bearing person, you're at the wrong rally if you're at that rally.
For sure. Yeah, and that's pretty sad for her to admit. I've got some video. I got some funny stuff, or I've got some Trump at McDonald's stuff, or I got some Trump in North Carolina, or I got some damning. I meant to play this last week. Let's go right into
Don't get me.
while we're talking about Kamala. Let's stick on Kamala.
All right, yeah, because I was gonna say, don't give me
hold on.
Trump, because
This
I already
is the
know he's
clip.
gonna fulfill whatever he puts
Yes.
his mind to. He's
Well,
gonna
I
get
got
that
more
shit
on
done,
Trump
man.
that's
Fuck it.
important we see, but this is Candace Owens
Let's
with
go.
more from Judge Joe Brown. Did we play this during the podcast last week?
I
No,
can't remember.
I
don't
I don't
think
think
we
we
did.
did. We had John
Here we
here
go.
from TGI.
And this is the problem, like I was talking about, identity politics.
Right.
Sooner or later, catches up with you.
Oh, yeah, for
So,
sure.
Here, check this out.
Now, there's even more proof, of course, that at the very least, the bare minimum, Kamala Harris is not black. It isn't just Janet Jackson. Funny who the media picks on and who the media stays away from, because Judge Joe Brown has the credentials. This is a person that they know is intelligent, has had a talk show on TV, I guess you could say a judge show on TV for a very long time. And many of you guys were emailing me clips of him on the show discussing the fact that he knew Kamala's father and that he just simply knows that the family is not black. Take a listen to this first clip before we jump into the second one.
She was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, I met her daddy, fine gentleman, Professor Harris. And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantation. So if mama is on the birth certificate listed as a Caucasian, daddy says he's a Caucasian Hindu and has no black ancestors, how did she get to be black?
I mean, the math is not mathing. How did she become black? It doesn't make sense. Okay. It only makes sense if you stole the identity of the help, which is so sick, so twisted, so diabolical, so offensive that we demand a response to this. Like I said, if a single black person is okay with this and votes for her because the media simply decided to make her black, to essentially wave a little Harry Potter wand and go, oh, okay, we just need you to be black because we need those black votes, and you're okay with that, you should really re-examine your life. You should deeply, spiritually search within yourself to determine what is wrong with you, that you would allow this sleight of hand to compel you to vote for this woman, despite her horrific record, by the way, of locking up black men. Who is this woman? 2 parents that were committed communists. Who is this woman? And that's not all Judge Joe Brown had to say in the matter of Kamala Harris. Take a listen.
And the birth certificate that she has is interesting because the confusion comes from a mistake. On the birth certificate, it lists the mother's race as Caucasian, national origin into India, and religion Hindu. For the father, it does not list national origin. It does not list religion. It does not list anything about that, but where it says race, they put national origin in Jamaica by mistake. Wife, blonde haired, blue eyes, but she was born in Jamaica. Her parents were born in Jamaica. One's blonde and blue eyed, the other one's red haired and gray eyed. And they happen to be related to the King of England because they are aristocrats in England, but they were born in Jamaica. It's not unusual. You're not black just because you are from Jamaica, and they have a whole lot of white people that never left, and their ancestors owned a lot of slaves. The Maroons went up into the hill country and got themselves free back in the 1840s. But, you know, other than that, it is what it is in Jamaica. So just because you're from that country does not mean you are of the black race. So the problem is why don't you go get your daddy to give you an affidavit that you have a black ancestor? And since the only possible claim you have is through your great grandmother, who he says was a Hindu house servant, it just happens to be swarthy. Where'd you get your blackness from? See, you're faking it again.
Hindu house servant is what they are alleging that Iris was. And I am telling you, the fact that I just picked up on that in a vibe in a picture, do not tell me women do not have good gut instincts. I was just like, there's just something about the...
All right. That's enough for her.
You all right, Leo?
Yeah, so like it was just another instance. Let me see what happens if I do this. Then nothing.
You know, I mean,
Nothing changed. Okay. So
they lost me after
identity
after this,
politics. She's claiming she's black. Meanwhile, when she was a DA in California, she was running on being a Hindu,
right?
You know, or you know, an Indian.
To me, I don't care.
Whatever.
To me, I don't care what you are.
Well, right.
You know,
that's how it is.
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter.
The only reason it matters, though, Leo, is if you're lying.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It
just proves one more.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
One
You're
more
lying.
lie that's
Just
coming
don't-
out of your mouth.
Just don't tell me what you are.
Right. I don't care what she is. It's not going to change my
You see
vote.
about her vice president. I've got something funny, but let's check our comments real quick.
If people were wondering, because you could see Leo kind of dancing, he was having a Charlie horse in his foot or
He's
something.
got to stretch those quads.
I sure
Yes.
do, man. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
I was doing some yard work today, and it's just stretched them quads a little bit too hard today. And now I'm sitting down here, and I'm.
You ever get one of those while you're laying in bed in the middle
Oh
of the
yeah,
night?
for sure. Yeah, for
We
sure.
are on the east coast of Florida, and we do the podcast in our studio attached to my house, but it's outside
Yeah.
and it's in
We enjoy
it's
it.
in a porch, so it's beautiful out here. But sometimes, you know, The
with-
bugs
with
get in the
ex-
dog.
from-
The doggy door needs
because
replaced.
of the bright lights to do the.
So I tell you
podcast
why
to
that.
attract
I
them.
tell you why we do that. You know, because we get no news out here. So we are the news.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to put it out there and let these people know what really is out there. You know, we let them know real life.
Yeah.
You know, just because you see it on TV and you see Taylor Swift with a little cat with her, doesn't mean that's real life. It's real life for her, but it's not real life for people like us. You know, like people see these stars and think, oh my God, get people here, listen, hey, they're humans. You know, their bank account is bigger than ours. And they're at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. These people are already rich. Why keep feeding these people and let these people decide on your future, on your kids' future? Period. You know, like why, man? Like, oh, just because Taylor Swift is doing that, okay, her music is good, okay, whatever it is, what it is. But keep politics. She needs to stay out of that shit, man.
A lot of the celebrities are
You know?
bought and paid for.
Okay, but still, look, she started
But, I
country.
mean-
Okay, she started country, right? And now she's doing, what is she doing now?
Well, she was cute little girl. And
Okay,
then
but she
went through
doesn't
her
know.
bad girl.
Okay,
Looked like Miley Cyrus.
okay, but here we go again. She doesn't know what the hell she is.
No,
You know?
that's business.
Uh,
That's that's being a millionaire, wanting to be a billionaire.
Okay, but
And
I'm
they've
not a
all done
millionaire,
it.
Mike.
No,
And
but
I'm not a
but
billionaire.
you're not a superstar either.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. My
I know,
vote,
but
my
when
vote
you
does
have
matter.
I know, but when you are, what I'm saying is, as a superstar goes, when you're making millions and you have a manager and a company that manages you,
Tells you
they
what to
push
do,
you to
how
the
to
next
act.
level. Look at Miley Cyrus.
Okay, but
you know all the,
but
you know,
like-
they go the next
Taylor
level.
But see,
Swift.
but that's so
she
sellouts.
comes
They're
across as
sellouts.
not being very smart, but if you talk to people that are close to her,
Right.
that's all part of her act. That's part of her
well,
gig.
well, yeah, but I know. But what
She's
I'm saying
actually
is,
supposedly smarter than you think.
right? What I'm saying is that it's so sad that we let these people influence
Yes.
Yeah.
the younger generation that is going to go and be able to vote this
Yeah.
year for their first time or
So,
whatever.
I have a confession.
you know,
You know,
like it's just sad.
One
man.
of my
Like, shit.
daughters loves Taylor Swift, but all she knows is her music.
The real confession is it's not one of the daughters. It's Mike.
No. I don't know any of her music, but my daughter
I don't really
loves
either.
Taylor Swift. But I'm okay talking to my kids about politics. Now my daughter is 9, and my son is 12, and I also have a 4-year-old. Not 12, he's 11, and I have a 4-year-old. But you know, my 9-year-old, she likes Taylor Swift, but they also know my politics, so I let them know. You know, hey, that's cool, you like her music, but she's kind of crazy. You know,
Right.
She
Don't
was-
listen to everything that comes out of
Right.
her mouth.
She was going to vote for Biden, you know, and they were like, "Oh, okay, we get it." You know, my kids get it because they knew. You know, they knew the
Right.
first time Trump ran, and they know this time. You know, they knew the first 2 times Trump. You know, who was
Who
who was the
for.
best guy. You know,
Right.
it's funny how kids pay attention. And I had a conversation with a coworker today, and they asked me, like, do you think it's odd that their parents would get aggressively defensive if you asked about their politics at the dinner table? And I was like, well, what do you mean? She's like, well, if I asked my mom and dad who they were voting for, they were like, oh, it's none of your business.
Well, that was more common years ago.
Well,
So
like
I don't think.
and
I don't
that's
think
kind
it's
of
really
how
that
the only
odd.
thing I could explain to her was the boomer generation kind of felt that way. And I kind of feel that's almost the reason why we are the way we are today, why it's such shock punchlines. Every line in the sand is a shock. You know,
Right.
it's total polarization because there was a whole generation of
That didn't
people
wanna talk
who
about
didn't raise their children based on values. So
So-
you just kind of did the
So that
fall in line.
So that generation kind of was their opinions were kind of formed on what news was fed to
Right.
them.
Yes.
Like look how it is
Yeah.
now, the kind of news that's being fed to them.
Yes. Yeah. So, you know, and that's just it. What's fed to you? What's fed to you? I always go back to the Patriot Act. You know, it was fed to us like it was going to save us, you know, and now 20 years later, even before even then, a lot of people were raising the alarms about how much this was going to hurt us. So, yeah. So back to how silly, ridiculous this is. I've got a funny. You guys want a funny? I picked this one up off of Twitter. I don't even know who made it. Let's hope this plays right.
I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400, town that you rode your bike with your buddies till the streetlights come on, and I'm proud of that service.
I ain't lived around here for 30 years for nothing. These people around here know Archie Bunker. They're my people. I'm going to knock on every door and every window, and I'm going to say to them all, stick to your guns, folks.
Would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together.
You know something? If you liberals go on getting your way, we're all going to hear one big loud flush. That's the sound of the USA going down a toilet.
And look, I'm a hunter.
Can you handle a shotgun?
So I've become friends with school shooters.
Are you kidding me? Want to do me a favor? Scram.
Yeah, so that was
pretty good.
That would be classic if Archie was running for vice president.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
I'd vote for
I
him
love
over
it.
Waltz. That's for sure.
Yeah. We once again we appreciate you if you are tuning in on the Patriot Prayer Network.
Sure.
Such a warm welcome to the network. It gives us a great opportunity.
Give us a like, give us a share,
Right.
give them a like, give us a share.
For
give
sure.
them a like, give us a share.
Follow-
Give everything a share. Follow them,
Yeah.
left and right.
Yeah, you can follow us on all the
sure.
all the major platforms. To the Point Podcast. You can follow me at tothepoint.com on X, but follow Patriot Prayer, the Patriot Prayer on X, and the Patriots Prayer on Rumble. I don't think there's an extra anything added to there, but we're loading video right now for our network sponsors, the Trump Token and the Miracle Therapy. So I look forward to being able to help support those who support the network. So if you're watching at home, give us a thumbs up on wherever you're watching.
Yeah, for sure.
If you got something to say, go ahead and leave a comment. If I won't get kicked off social media, I'll share it. Yeah, why not? But I got some more video here. Trump made it to North Carolina, by the way, and he made it there. Supposedly he was there as soon as the storm passed.
Yeah. It was
And
like
he
24
couldn't go
hours.
through. He couldn't go through, and they pulled the plug. He was like, even if we could get through, we're gonna hamper down on relief efforts. Let's come back. So I've got what I just click on. This is Trump with a business owner in North Carolina.
And Mike Stewart, the owner of Pineview Buildings, is here. Mike? Mike, please.
Yeah, we had a business right across the street, like with the Swananoa River flowing on the backside of it, and we lost everything. We had 70 plus buildings. We drove here 2 days later, and there wasn't one building that was ours, but there were houses and trailers and tankers and all sorts of things that were strewn across our property. And we lost a business, but there are a lot of people who lost everything, including loved ones. And I believe that you can serve as a great inspiration to this community right now. And the reason being is I think God's given you an indomitable spirit. And no matter what gets thrown at you, you find a way to press through. And I think that'll serve as an inspiration to this community to press on and move forward. I can't think of anything I'd rather have than a warrior leading our country, a warrior who, with the help of God and with faith and prayer, will lead this community, these communities, and this country to greatness. So thank you for being here today. I appreciate it.
Come here. I never heard anything. And that was from the heart. No speechwriter could write that.
Thank you.
Right?
If you don't mind, just because my heart's
Yes.
about to beat, do you mind if I pray for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, and all those that are prayers, would you join with me in this prayer? Father, I thank you for this man that you have raised up in this moment, in this season, for your purposes. And I pray that you would anoint him, that things aren't done just by might or by power, but by your spirit. So I ask that you would anoint President Donald Trump and give him a spirit of wisdom and understanding and insight as he moves to lead this nation back to greatness. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Bless you.
Wow.
Bless you.
Wow, that's something you don't hear that often. It's incredible. And I appreciate that from both and from everybody. That's really nice.
Donald Trump putting on a little McDonald's car.
Yeah, that was it. A rant AOC went into later on. I don't want to play that whole video.
Anyways,
She makes me
thank
sad.
you though. That was good.
Yeah. So I mean, he's doing more between him and Elon Musk than the government did.
Right.
I've got a friend. She's a teacher. She's an online friend. I'll be honest with you. It's a Facebook friend I met a few years back, and she's a teacher in in a county south of us, as a matter of fact. And she had posted some statistics about George Bush's reaction to Katrina and how he came under fire for their delayed reaction. But when you look at apples to oranges, he deployed, I think within 7 days, 60,000 troops. Maybe it was 90,000. I don't know. If she's listening, she can correct me. But it was a matter of like, they did something.
Yeah.
Here, they
took
maybe
action.
6,000 people
Right.
that work for the government were involved.
And that's just sad, man. Like that's what like it's just so sad to me, man. Like it's just like we are Americans, man. Like we should not be like if something like this happens, we should be ready to react the next day.
And from what I understand from
Do
a
you know
lot
what
of
I'm saying?
videos we've
Vince.
seen, FEMA's actually hurting the progress.
Vince.
They're not making it better. They're making
What was
it
that movie
worse.
says? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth when
Oh, I
I
don't
say
remember what movie
we
that is.
are Americans,
It was
man.
Friday.
You know, we
Was
are
that Friday?
I don't know. I was like, we are
I
Americans.
don't think that was Friday.
But like
Friday
we're,
after next.
we're Americans, man. We shouldn't be have to like talk about this. We should be able to talk about like, hey, did you hear about how many troops got there and they took care of it and it's done and it's cleaned up and people are up and
What would have
running
happened
again?
if this happened in some third world country?
We'd send the money.
We would have sent them a bunch of money and reacted quicker.
Quick, yeah.
If this happened to some other country,
You know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
not
it's
even an
sad,
ally. Don't
man.
even have to be an ally. Just anybody. Let's send them a bunch of money. Let's put this bill together. You want to know why?
Right.
Because they're laundering billions of dollars every time they do that.
But see, like I don't even understand how the government works, man. Like because they don't even understand how they themselves work. You know, like me and my
Organized
house,
crime.
like me and like me and my house. Like I buy things and sometimes I'm like, I'm never gonna use it. I only need it for one time use. Okay, but you know what? I might need it. There come the day that I'm gonna need whatever I bought. That I'm gonna need. That I'm not gonna have to go out and ask somebody else. Hey, can I borrow this? Hey, can I borrow that? You know, that's how we are right now. Like we can't fix our own problems, but yet we're handing money this way and we're handing money that way, and it's like.
That's
Have you
because
guys ever seen that meme that says something about tell me where you live and I'll tell you what you have or what you own or something like that? That's literally like, oh, I'm an American. They'd be like, ah, ha, 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 ha.
Well, that's
Laughing at
almost
you.
scary that we're the laughing
It's
stock.
just
you're
like-
American, Leo.
Just
I got my hand out, man. You got some money?
yeah.
Well, everybody.
some money,
Well, it
man.
depends on who you talk to, which identity he should go by. You know,
you
should he
know.
go by, Latino?
I'm gonna go buy
Hispanic,
Latino, they give me some money.
American, who knows?
I'm gonna go
I
buy.
mean,
I'm gonna go buy a Hispanic. You think they give me some money?
if a Hindu, listen to this. If a Hindu raised in Montreal could run for president of the United States,
Was he born here?
was she born here? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's the
It's
rule.
kinda
They have to be.
sad.
They have to be born here.
I'm not. I don't want to throw minorities out there, but to think about it, they questioned Obama's birth heritage,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I guess they know where Kamala was born, but she was raised in Montreal. So
she
when
was in Canada.
so when Barack Hussein Obama goes out there to talk to the black guys and say she grew up in the same neighborhoods as you, they're lying to him.
So Mike,
Right.
so say
She
if
didn't
I-
grow up in
right,
Harlem
right.
and in Compton.
So say
Yeah, she grew up in a rich neighborhood in Canada.
Right.
So say I run for president, right? What do you think they would say that I'm not American? Just think about the gossip. They would say, "Oh, Leo is not an American.
So-
He can't run for
So
president."
what if you were born here, but literally before you're even like a year old, you moved to Canada and you lived in Canada for the 45 years, and now you came to America? Should you be able to run? I don't.
Oh, I
think
mean,
so.
you're a citizen, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, to me, you.
She
Yeah, you
was
were
here
born here,
longer
but
than that.
no, I know that. But I'm just using an example. Just because you were born here, how much time did you spend here? Like,
Okay, but
I
look-
almost feel like there should still be some sort of statute that shows you had to spend maybe at least 50% of your life.
Right.
And maybe she probably has, I'm not using her as the example, but I mean, I wouldn't feel okay with somebody running that maybe spent 5 years here.
Yeah.
Hey, this is a good time to help pay the bills. So I don't mean to cut you guys off, but let's jump into, I don't know if I'm going to do this in the right order, but Miracle Healing Therapy, we're going to hear from them, and we're going to go into the Trump Token Project. So hang tight. Let's do our part here.
As we age, we lose a bit of energy. Of course, that's not our fault. Our bodies change as we grow. Healing patches rejuvenate your cells and in the skin play a key role in the aging process. Research has found that as we age, the number and function of these cells decline, which can lead to a decrease in skin elasticity and the development of wrinkles. But what if there was a product that could restore that spunk for more than just our skin? There is, and it does. The product draws out other huge benefits such as more energy, better sleep, reduced stress, and pain management. If you would like more information, please go to miraclehealingtherapy.com. That's miraclehealingtherapy.com. Here's that website address once again, miraclehealingtherapy.com.
Yeah, that was the
Wow,
Miracle.
did you see that? It's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, Eddie's in our producer studio, and thank you for helping us out. StreamYard is new to us here.
Hey, Eddie, what's up?
So we heard from that sponsor. Let's take a look at the Trump. Are you guys into crypto at all?
I have some.
Yeah, I got you into it.
Vince got into it.
Thanks a lot, Mike.
Leo's
hasn't paid off yet. But
That's one thing Mike hasn't convinced me yet, but you never know.
I got a lot of SHIB, man. If SHIB ever takes off, I'll be right there with Elon.
That's usually how I answer my phones. Whenever I answer my phone from you know how it says spam and stuff like that, I normally tell them, hey,
witnessed you do this.
I was like, hey, if you guys take, crypto, if you guys take whatever, Dogecoin or whatever, and they're like, oh, we don't take that. We don't know what that is. I'm like, well, then sorry, we can't do business. And they hang up. It works.
It gets rid of them pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Let's check out this Trump token.
America faces challenges like never before. Economic uncertainty, social unrest, debt implosion. The foundations of our freedom are under attack. To restore strength, prosperity, and the American way of life, Trump must win.
I plan to ensure that the United States will be the crypto capital of the planet and the Bitcoin superpower of the world.
Introducing the Trump token, blending the deflationary model of Bitcoin with the technological advancement of Solana. It's more than just a cryptocurrency. It's America's future medium of exchange. The Trump token pledges to donate 50% of proceeds, up to $50 million, to Trump's 2024 re-election campaign. Join the movement. Stand with Trump. Secure your future at thetrumptoken.com.
Yes. So,
wow, man, a Trump coin. Yep. What is that? Like, you think that's, something that he's coming out with?
Let's bring Eddie in. Eddie's the founder. Eddie Smith is the founder of the Patriot Prayer Network. He can tell us a whole lot more. Let's bring Eddie in, see if I can do this right. Hey, Eddie, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, Eddie? What's up,
Eddie?
Bud?
I got a horrible layout here. Maybe you can help me. All right.
What's happening, fellas?
Not much. Hey, thank you for this opportunity, and I'm glad we got you on at the right time.
Yeah, well, I had to. I'm getting a feedback. Give me a sec.
Yep.
Turn my sounds here. All right. So, I brought you in, man. For a while, I said, with all of us, and what we can do to promote this Patriot Prayer Network. Patriot. That's what we are. We are. Lend each other up. Each other up. I'm in. Look at your numbers. I'm like thousands. But I'm 60 people.
I have no idea what I did wrong.
We're heading into 1,000 right now. We're getting ready to do that in minutes. And
we're doing pretty good with 60.
The Trump.com is pledging up to half of all proceeds of their coins, up to $50 million. They're going to give to a Trump PAC. So we're getting ready to make that donation here in a few days. And guys, we got to work with Trump campaign, Caleb Montgomery. As you know, there's all of the speeches at the rallies and that sort of thing. And does an amazing job at getting funder, who's a big one, and is she'll be talking about shouting out the prayer network on Kellyanne show. This week, and as you saw last week in Atlanta, Georgia, Caleb Montgomery shouted network out on stage for the whole world to see, and for that, we're on stage again, and she shouted us out times. We're standing right next to her on stage. About PPM, man. Listen.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, for sure. And when you see pay yourself that are out there fighting every king to band together with others. Their job is us separated. They don't want us talking. They don't want us organizing. They don't want us doing none of this stuff. The New World Order. Remember that World Order? Back in
the day from wrestling.
And people forgot all about it. And now they're actually implementing it. And we ain't talking about it. They're put us in the DOD for 10.
They cancel you right away. They don't like something that they're here. They just cancel you. They be like, "Oh, that's it. We're done." That's it's automatically you're thinking wrong. We don't want you thinking that way. Just quick. Nowadays, back then there was no such thing as canceling. Back then, I was telling the guys. I don't know if you remember what was it? MySpace. You got home from school or you got home from college, wherever, and you change your people real quick. You let them know how you were feeling at the time.
Who your favorites
were. Who your favorites were, And I'm sorry, but we should go back to the same thing. Hey, I'm gonna
wear it on your sleeve.
Yeah,
not
wear it on
sleeve
your
like a Nazi, but be proud of your values because there's a big difference now.
Oh yeah.
So while we got you on here, I'm interested, and I'm sure our viewers who weren't already Patriot Prayer followers, tell us how you brought us all together, and how you built what we have today.
So that's a crazy story. I was a bad guy back in the day. Super bad actually. 6 years in prison. All those guys you hear about, all those guys, all the. I was right there with them, brother.
Yeah.
And I was doing everything. God sat me down. And they said, you got a choice to make. And he opened my eyes to a lot of going on in the country. And one day I just talked to them some real serial inside of the prison. And I tell them, dude, I have to take that path and walk that path. And I knew I was taking my own hands. But I just saw Trump do a graduation at this place called Hope Prisoners, which is a place where
you can
get out and get on their feet and all that. God had given me this dream. He put it on my heart. I was going to go to this program, and then I was going to jump off into this company, and I was going to work for them, and I was going to start all of this. And I know that sounds crazy to those that don't believe. But let me tell you what happened. I get out, and I go to the Open Prisoners program, and I tell these guys, I just want this one interview. And after I was there about a week, a virtual job interview, and was just in the middle of COVID. And they said, well, how much do you think that you're going to ask them for? And I said about low six figures. And they said, but they're hiring laborers. I said, it don't matter what they're hiring for. So they get me the interview. 5 minutes later, I came out of it as the highest person ever. to complete the program and get this position as an exec position at the job where I currently work. And I started doing this podcast thing exactly the way God put on my heart to do it. And he just began to open door after door after door. We sent the young kid who was blamed for wearing blackface at the Chiefs game Monday night. Sent that kid to the Super Bowl. We got our name in every public across the United States, every news channel. And it's just God has opened one door after another. And I said, you know what, Maury, it's bigger than me and you. Why don't we be the first ones to ever start a podcast network and get other patriots on the network for our channel is constantly pushing out patriotic news and the truth all day long.
Yeah.
Not just when we do ours, and it just went bananas from there. We have the granddaughter of Prime Minister of Israel working with us. We have Nate King, who's the Iranian whistleblower who testified against Hillary Clinton. We have Ann Thunder. She spoke at the RNC. Tom Riley, she works with us, Michaela Montgomery. We have two guys who you know, Dale and Jim. And we're adding a bunch more, guys. We're adding a bunch more. We're getting ready to start a sports network.
Nice.
So there's a lot of stuff happening. You came along at the right time, and look, we're already at 1,150 people watching right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's what it's all about for us. Was joining was just to be able to reach more people, you know. And you creating this this network gives us the opportunity to do that. So we're thankful for that.
Well, guys,
it's crazy.
We have 278 million. Across all of our channels, we have 278 million impressions.
That's awesome.
And so you guys get to walk into a cultivated audience.
That's awesome.
That took us years to build.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for giving us this opportunity, you know.
And because you guys got a message that needs to be heard.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that's what we were speaking about earlier. I was saying, you know, we're out in the middle of literally out in the middle of nowhere. But hey, you know, we are that news out here in the middle of nowhere.
It's fun for us.
You got a lot of guys around you, though. Don't think you're alone out there.
Sure. For sure. That's what I'm saying. You know,
Alexandra's there. Elena Barbera, who's your base mother, she's right by you guys. Are all in the same.
That's what I'm saying. Even though we're out literally in the middle of nowhere, we're not at the same time. You know,
there's a lot of us.
You know, there's a lot of us around here, but you know, that's what I'm saying.
Crazy when you start looking for Patriots, how many of them are in Florida?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for
and
sure.
that's how I found the network. Actually, we follow we are in the Moms for Liberty, the local Moms for Liberty group, and Dale and Jim from Two Guys in One Coop. I followed them for like the last, I think, since I started, because they would share to that group. So that's how I came across the Patriot Prayer Network, because I saw when they transitioned over, and they've got an awesome show. Those guys are great, man. Yeah, and I appreciate those guys too. You know.
Very much so. I mean, really amazing guests on that show. JJ Carroll is one of my favorite people, and I'll be interviewing him soon. We actually just got done with an interview with Eric Molitor, who was blamed by Gretchen Whitmer, who set up her own kidnapping with the FBI to set up these 14 innocent men. And we just kind of went through that whole story in a 3-hour podcast, and it's crazy. How that all went down, but that's what we're here to do. We're not here to care about people's feelings and all that kind of stuff. We're here to tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, for sure. And they don't like to hear the truth. That's at the end of the day, that's what offends them. You know, that's what hurts them. It's it's the truth. I'm sorry you have to hear what you're doing wrong. Yeah, but it's the truth.
Too many people are used to hearing what they want to hear.
Oh yeah,
and not hearing the truth. But what we really need is the truth.
Yeah.
So while we got you here, Eddie, you got any predictions to make for November 5th?
I expect there to be another October surprise or 4th. I really do. I mean, these guys, listen, Dick Cheney, Liz Cheney, Paul Ryan, George Bush, Mitt Romney have every single one of them have all said they're going to vote for Kamala. So this was something that we said a long time ago, that there is a fake right and left paradigm, and there's a uniparty that permeates the entire government. And Mike Pence just endorsed Kamala, right?
Yeah.
So this should tell you one thing: they're not all of a sudden becoming Democrats, guys.
No.
What they're doing is this MAGA movement that we're in is scaring the hell out of the globalists so bad that they have to team up and stop pretending they're on different sides of the aisle.
The dirty politician.
And that's something that we, the people, have done because they're scared of us. They're building internment camps right now, guys. Internment camps.
Oh, yeah.
There are hundreds of thousands of beds across this country with nobody in them in prison camps. That is a real thing.
Yeah.
And now they just did this DOD 524001 this directive that says they're allowed to unleash the military on U.S. soil against U.S. citizens and even use deadly force.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they just did this a month ago. The timing of it is not coincidental.
Right.
They did this at the same time as allowing all these people into the country, knowing they were killers. They still released them. 13,099 of them. They did their background check, said they're killers, released them. 15,851. Oh, they're rapists, release them.
Yep.
The other day,
5% of the Haitian population, bring them on over.
really eating cats too. Really eating cats. I got into an argument with somebody at one of the local restaurants, and they were trying to say we were trying to defame the Haitian people about eating cats and stuff like that. Doesn't happen. I said, man, weren't they just eating people on TV a few weeks ago?
Right.
Yeah, their leader is called Barbecue. That's his nickname. You know,
For them to eat cats and dogs, that's perfectly normal for them.
I'll be the first to say I work with a lot of Haitians, and a lot of them, I know them personally, I think, and from what I know of them, they're good people. I'm not going to bash all Haitians, but
in every group.
If they're bringing them here for a specific reason, they're just willing to bring whoever or is willing to come. And like Trump nailed it, is they're emptying out their prisons, not just Haiti, but South America, countries across South America. They're emptying out their prisons. And why wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, because
send
they're
them
getting,
over.
Yeah, they're getting more people in, and they don't have room for them.
They don't have to feed them. Give them health care. So,
but they have to burn this country down before they can rebuild it.
Yeah.
So they need us to need them. In a prosperous country that doesn't need their government to eat and to be safe is not a country they can rule. This is why John Kerry said the other day when in his interview, he was basically talking about the First Amendment like it was a pesky First Amendment that was getting in their way, so they were unable to control things. And I'm quoting, I'm not even paraphrasing. He said that.
Yeah.
That was followed up by Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton and Kamala said the same damn thing. They want to get rid of the First Amendment. They hate us.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they hate the truth.
They hate us.
They hate the truth.
It's well, and that just shows you if they're that desperate, they're scared. They're running for a reason. I'm just worried. I saw an interview on the Benny Johnson show. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was going down the list about how they're only going to let him be president if he checks off all the boxes. Like, you know, we can expect to see a Nikki Haley as State Department. Do you foresee anything like that coming out of this?
No, because he went through this already. Look, Mike Pence, his chief of staff was married to Peter Strzok's partner, the FBI guy that targeted Trump with all the fake dossier BS. His partner, the one that set up Mike Flynn, did that at the behest of Pence. Pence was acting against Trump while he was sitting next to him. And we know that because now he just endorsed Kamala. All these people, all these deep state actors that play the part like they are conservatives, they're not. Look at them on paper. Obama and George Bush are exactly the same person. This is the first time in my lifetime, and in your lifetime, probably.
I think I know where you're going.
My lifetime is, I've been around a little longer than you guys. I'm 47. The thing is that when Bush was running against Kerry, they were both skull and bones. They both went to Yale. There was no choice. Either which one you chose, you were getting the same person. Mitt Romney and Obama. Didn't matter who you chose, you were getting the same person. when you were voting between John McCain and Obama, it didn't matter. You were getting the same person. Now, McCain's whole family is now endorsing Kamala. The reason why Donald Trump scares the hell out of them is because he's not a globalist and he doesn't like NATO.
I was saying something along the same lines the other day. It's like every time before Trump came along, any election in history, my life was not affected much, no matter which candidate won. Now, with Trump, since Trump's been running these last few, there's been a big difference in how the country's going to be run, how much money is going to be in my pocket, how well things are going to go for normal everyday people like us. It makes a huge difference.
People going through the drive-through at McDonald's,
right?
Or at the gas pumps, where the man on the street videos are all proven for Trump. So
That's right. I mean, you know what my poll numbers are derived from? When Trump walked into the Georgia Stadium for the college football game, did you hear the crowd?
Yeah.
Right? Did you hear the crowd the other night at the Steelers game when he played the Jets when they found out Trump was there?
Yeah.
That is your poll numbers. That's your poll number. They didn't just, are you a Trump fan? Then you could come in. Are you a Trump fan? Then you could come in. Those were all people that bought tickets for those games. They didn't know he was going to be there at that Georgia Tech game. But without polling anyone, look what happened.
Yeah.
Look what happened. That's the poll numbers.
Yeah, it's definitely obvious when you look at all the polls the ones that average everything now show Trump clearly taking the electoral vote, and some even show the popular vote. Yeah, and even the left wing
popular vote last time if they played fair.
Yep, even the left wing pollsters are softening their audiences up for a Trump win now, or like some of the left wing media outlets, they're preparing their viewers.
It's
for a Trump win.
It's looking more like a landslide.
Well, that's the question. Is it going to be too big to rig, like obvious Trump win, or is it going to be something contested and drawn out in courts? That's what
I can tell you this much
is going to be more hurt.
I don't think that our patients our resolve on the right will go beyond any type of shenanigans they try to pull in this one. This one, I believe wholeheartedly. This is they got us backed into the corner. There's nowhere else, nothing else to do but fight to go through them.
Right.
If they cheat on this election, the American people, I'm telling you, this is not an election, it's a revolution. And you're either going to vote now or fight later, because you're not voting your way out of communism, guys. You're not voting your way out of communism.
Come here, baby. Let me introduce you to someone special to me, Eddie. Come here, Riley.
Oh, look at this.
This is my
That's why we do this.
Riley.
This is what I was about to say. This is why we do this.
You say hi, Eddie.
This is exactly why we do this.
This is why we do this.
We're watching you right now.
Yeah.
A little bit more than 1,500 people watching me right now.
No one. What you talking about? Would you take this cheese and take the dog?
But yeah, this is what we do this for. Not for me.
Yeah, I voted yesterday, and I voted against abortion. I voted against their primary swamp. They put a question on our ballot: should everybody be allowed to vote in the primary? And I said, absolutely not. Why would I want Democrats voting in the Republican primary? We'll never get another conservative candidate ever.
Right.
So they're trying all kinds of tricks, guys. There's all kinds of. Did you guys see the controversy uncovered around Kamala, where now it's proven this lady is not even 1% black, not even one?
We played the video from Candace.
That's what I'm talking about.
With Judge Joe Brown. Yeah, like the identity politics always comes back around, and then they send Obama out to talk to the brothers. That's how his terminology, and it turns around and backfires on them. So it's rumor has it she's taking a break from the campaign trail with 2 weeks to go. And if you look at like the real clear politics maps, no toss-up maps show like I don't think she even clears 230 electoral votes. I had it up.
I think it was like 213 or something.
So she's taking a break now, And she's
The
not. And
226.
she's not even.
Well, I mean, if you
okay.
ask, they're not. You know, they're
No, but
see,
still,
there it is
but
right
still,
here.
you
Yeah.
know, like come on, like
Yeah,
seriously.
over 312 electoral votes, and it's 270 to win. So it's if hopefully that's how it works out.
Right.
I mean, if that's how it works out, there's no denying that election.
Yeah, right.
What would you say about that?
What do you think that they'll let them do? Do you think that 4 attempts, because there's been 4, most people don't realize this, 4 attempts on Donald Trump's life within 115 days.
No.
4 attempts. Do you think
crazy.
think that the Secret Service allowing him to stay on stage and give a speech while they knew there was an active shooter was an accident or a
No,
mistake?
absolutely not.
It was
That was
it was
not
a
an accident.
choice. It was a
I
choice. How
still
about the
say
guy
there's-
hiding in the bushes?
I was
The guy
gonna say
hiding in the bushes with a pink shirt on, who brought lunch and was there 12 hours ahead of time, even though Trump's itinerary for that day was never published to the public.
I still say there was a sniper on the water tower that took out the shooter that shot at Trump.
And in the police body cam footage actually backs that up, because during that when that body cam footage was released, it said that we detained 2 other people by the water tower.
Right. And they said the guy that they thought took the shot that took him out, they say when they go to reenact it, it's impossible that he could have made that shot. I mean, I've heard it both ways.
God had his hand on him that day, because it was the turning of the head at the exact time. I mean, you couldn't have set that up. I mean, that's impossible to have been able to set that up, and he would turn his head in such a way as to only nick his ear.
Half of an inch and he's dead.
That's exactly what the left is saying. It was stupid for him to stay on stage because they just don't want to give him credit for being brave. They don't want to give him credit for being so pissed off. Listen, this is a man who has everything. He's done everything, conquered every, business ordeal, and everything about life is conquered. He goes sit on the beach somewhere if he wants and be comfortable.
Yeah, he doesn't need to do this at all.
And he said that in that interview that you showed me, or something like that.
What's he got to gain from it? He's just trying to. I've heard some people say he's the second coming of,
Well,
it's a little extreme, but the second coming of Jesus.
He gives all credit to Christ for that. He gives all credit to Christ for that. But but people, they constantly, you guys aren't Christians, you guys aren't godly. Like that's their defense against us. Well, didn't Kamala just throw people out of her rally for saying Jesus Christ is Lord?
Yeah, she said you're at the wrong. You're at the wrong rally.
Vince was talking about that.
She goes, you meant to go to the smaller rally down the street. And they're
exactly.
all
So because they said Jesus Christ, now the proper response from someone who actually has some sort of a belief in God would be that, yeah, we agree with you, but we disagree with you on this point. But no, she didn't. None of that. You're in the wrong place. You said Jesus' name. This is not for you. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. I've never met a Democrat Christian, and I never will, because they don't exist.
Yeah, I made the comment, I think it was on social media, that they're either stupid or they're evil. There's no in between. If you're promoting and pushing that narrative, the progressive left is right now, it's that extreme. Stupid or evil. Which one is fueling that, for these people?
A lot of the different things that they push, with the books in schools and all that kind of stuff. To agree with that side, to me, you basically got to be a pedophile. Like, why would you?
With the books, you're referring to the books, right?
Well, not just the books, but just like the other stuff that they've pushed with kids going to drama queen shows and stuff all that kind of stuff.
Desensitizing them to the queer agenda.
Their false sense of compassion is putting us in a cage.
Yeah, it's the tolerance.
You heard why Romney wasn't voting him, right, guys? You heard why Romney wasn't voting for Trump. He said something about values. Check this out. I'll play this for you.
5 shillings for the possessed toy.
Would you vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden?
No, absolutely not. I mean, for me, there are 2 factors of deciding who I want to have as the leader of my country. and the person who is the example of the president for my kids and my grandkids. One is their position and policies. And on foreign policy, I'm not aligned with Donald Trump, at least as I understand his policy. On domestic policy, yeah, I align with many of his domestic policies. But there's another dimension besides policy, and that's character.
So he's saying character is the thing that stops him from voting for Trump. What about the character of the guy that he was backing in this moment, that was showering with his daughter until she was in her teenage years, or the one who just threw a Christian out of the out of her rally, or the guy who got 16 or 17 payments from Romania while he was still vice president? And all the leaked phone calls are saying essentially, hey, we got to hurry up and figure this out before Donald Trump gets wise to what we're doing. Like, this came out of Joe Biden's mouth. Get rid of the evidence. Shut the Privat bank down in the Ukraine before Trump realizes what's really going on. Like, anyone go on Rumble and just type in Joe Biden leaked phone calls and just go down the rabbit hole and listen to the phone calls that were made public. And you'll see that this guy is snitching on himself, and the entire apparatus of our intelligence community knows it. They know what he's doing. They know what he's done. $30 million plus flowed through the coffers of the Biden family, not just to the Biden family, but straight to Obama's doorstep. Obama was the president, so Biden couldn't set policy. When he was trading money for favors, those favors had to be enacted by Obama himself. Mr. Larry Sinclair, Mr. Crackpipe. We're sitting on a president right now who had got rid of it. He said you're not allowed to reference Jesus on Easter Day during the White House Easter egg hunt, but instead he had what was called a trans day of visibility. Now I want to tell you why this should be important to people of faith, because Easter is derived from the word Ishtar. And Ishtar was a goddess of gender fluidity. The stuff we see happening right now with transgenders, this is not new. This is old. This is Old Testament stuff. So he, instead of celebrating Easter, he celebrated the Trans Day of Visibility. So he gave crack pipes out to his constituents, kicked Jesus out of the White House, and he had a topless trans party on the White House lawn while cocaine was being found in the White House.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about character? This guy that just said that about him, he has no character.
No.
He doesn't. I thought he had at least a belief in God, but there's no way in hell that anyone who's voting for Kamala has even the slightest belief in a real God.
I question any Massachusetts Republican. He can come from Utah or go back to Utah if he wants, but he was always elected in Massachusetts. So that tells you something. I don't, Republicans in New England don't normally get, elected.
Yeah.
So thank God we didn't end up with a Romney, because it's just another Bush and another Kerry and another.
On paper, they're the exact same people. That's what I told people. On paper, look at these guys on paper. George Bush passed the Patriot Act overnight, 525 pages, drafted by John Ashcroft, by a president who at the time it was actually illegal for him to become president, because Dick Cheney was the president of the CFR, the Council on Foreign Relations. There is a law against people who belong to the CFR for being able to hold office in America. And yet he did, and he didn't disclose it. And then you go from him. Did you know that George Bush and Obama knew each other when Obama was just a kid?
No, but I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if I heard it.
Well, his dad, Obama's father, Lolo Soetoro, not his birth father, but his adoptive one, the one from Indonesia, was an oil tycoon. And that oil tycoon used to do business with the Bushes. So the story goes like this. There was a candy that George Bush Jr. used to give to Obama when he was a little kid. Whenever he'd see him, and he'd give him some special kind of candy. Now, go Google all of Obama's meetings with Bush. The first thing you see happen when he walks up to him is he gives him a piece of candy.
It's crazy.
It's real stuff. These guys are all part of the same club.
For sure.
Part of the same uniparty.
It's all brotherhood.
So
it's just they all give an oath They all say an oath. This is what we're gonna go by, and there is no, there's one road and one road only.
So
Either you fall off or you.
I don't mean to interrupt you, Leo,
crazy.
but I don't want to keep our viewers too long because we're run over. I appreciate having Eddie on, so I want to pick his brain as much as we can. With the rumor, Zelensky or Vladimir Zelensky from Ukraine took to social media today to expose that North Korea has sent about 2 brigades worth, about 12,000 soldiers to help Russia in the war on the front line. So what do you, with the political landscape we see right now, what is he trying to accomplish by going to social media with that? And depending on what we see in 2 weeks, where do you think we will be in 3 weeks as far as global conflict?
This war is a proxy war. It is a proxy war for NATO. NATO needs Putin to be the boogeyman, because if there is no threat of a reforming of the USSR, there is no need to have NATO, which is the whole reason NATO exists. So all of this stuff with Kim Jong-un sending soldiers and weapons and things like that to help Russia, the reason they're putting it out there, and the reality of it is, guys, is we don't even know if it's true.
Yeah.
There's no way to verify any of this except for he said. But remember, Zelensky is the same guy who just about 6 months ago stood up in front of Canadian Parliament and applauded a Nazi.
Yep.
Never apologized for doing it. This guy fought right alongside Hitler's troops. He's a Nazi. And Trudeau and Zelensky clapped for this guy. Now, I'm not telling you that Putin is a good dude or anything like that, but I tell you this much: I believe Putin right now more than I believe them. Because listen, what would it look like if the entire United States were to go to war against Florida? How long do you think that war would last?
Not long.
Not
With
long
the
at all.
Florida,
You go take a look at Ukraine and you take a look at Russia, and you tell me, why is it that this war has even lasted this long?
Right. It should have been
At
over.
at any point, Putin could just say, okay, I'm done with it. Just overwhelm them, take them out. It's over. The reason why this happened was because Obama told Ukraine to disarm their nuclear weapons and that we would protect them. And then they sent the Azimov Brigade into the Donbass region. And anyone who looks up the Azimov regime can see they're wearing swastikas on their uniforms.
For those who don't know, they're actual Nazis. Yeah.
They were actual Nazis, and they were going into Ukraine and they were shooting and killing their own citizens. Now, you also know that Zelensky has a couple of U.S. journalists in their prisons over there because they were reporting the truth from the ground, and he didn't want that to happen. So he locked them up. And did you know that Putin offered peace talks? And all he wanted to do was define the line of where Ukraine ends and Russia begins, and really actually define it, because they've never had that talk. So the people in the Donbass said, we're ethnic Russians. We're not Ukrainians. So that's why this fight is happening. And also the United States broke its word and said we wouldn't move NATO any closer to Russia. And yet here we go with a missile defense system in Poland and moving the red line 10,000 miles even closer than where it was ever supposed to be. So imagine if Putin were to set up shop in Mexico or in Cuba. What will we do? Well, the same thing we already did. Remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? Turn those missiles around, or I'm going to turn Cuba into a parking lot. So we're being real hypocritical right now.
For sure.
We're being real hypocritical. And that's why when Trump says that the moment that he's elected, that war will be over. You know why? Because he won't do what Biden did, which is send Boris Johnson over there and tell Zelensky if he has peace talks with Putin, then he's cutting the purse strings. Putin is their fall guy. Putin works for Biden. Putin, you can actually connect to Biden through Igor Kolomoisky. The guy who owned the Privat Bank, the guy who owned Burisma Holdings, is the same guy that employed Hunter Biden. He's the guy that got Zelensky elected. He's the one who set his campaign up. On that phone call, that famous phone call where they tried to say Trump did a quid pro quo, he didn't. What he did was he asked Zelensky about the corruption that was going on there, and what took place previously. But they couldn't have Trump digging too far into that because of what he would uncover, such as all of the chemical bio labs and all these things that Zelensky was allowing to happen over there without oversight. There was a lot that we're doing over there that we shouldn't be doing. And Zelensky,
Oh yeah, for sure.
here's the better thing. All in billions of dollars we're sending over there, I think we should keep a tag on it, because I wonder how much of that is going to be sent back to Biden or the Democrats in a kickback later on.
I agree. I had that video of Trump on the PBD podcast. I have it in here as an overlay, but I'm not going to play it because we've gone quite over, and I appreciate you, Eddie. I don't want to keep you any longer because I'm sure you've got business to take care of. And I want to thank the almost 1,900 viewers at home. We appreciate you tuning in and giving us your time, and we hope you give us a follow. Check us out. Our website's combined with IndianRiverConnections.com. It's a local collaboration to do good in our community, which you can see over my shoulder. We're organizing a toy and meal drive for victims of Hurricane Milton in our county. Not just Hurricane Milton, but just financial hardship. And we're hoping to donate toys for the kids and maybe provide a few holiday meals. So if you're in our area, feel free to stop by one of our drop-off locations, which you'll be able to find on our social media. And we'd appreciate
Put
that.
that in the repost room, guys. Put that in that chat, that the Patriots Prayer podcast, the chat on X, and we'll have all of the creators repost it.
Awesome. And again, we appreciate you, Eddie, and we're gonna try to get out of here without screwing up this stream.
Thank you again.
Thanks,
you, Eddie.
guys.
All right, guys. Hey, brother, you guys all have a good one. If you'd started that sooner, you'd have had over 3,000 people. You guys are killing it.
I'm gonna have to pick your brain because I thought I had us all set up, and I guess I screwed something up. But all right, once again, we appreciate
Thank
you
guys. We'll see you guys next week. We're out.
Yep.
Have a good night, brother.
Good night.